Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Tis Hitters. My name's Kurt Conley. I'm here with Rev Nissen. How are you today, Rev?
Yeah, doing well, Kurt. Had a great Easter break. Not really a
Yes.
break for us Middle Eastern people. It's more of it's crazy. There's a lot of family stuff going on. How are you? Doing all right?
Yeah, good. I had a really nice break. I spent 4 or 5 days away from the house with my kids and that. So yeah, I had a really nice break and happy to be back in the office. The workload is stacking up next to me, but I'm happy to be back in here and getting into it. I can't believe we're at episode 36. It's like the 9th of April. The year is getting away from us. Lots going on. So yeah, really cool. Happy to be
Definitely,
back.
definitely for sure.
Okay, so as always, before we do anything with our Tis Hitters, if you're a new viewer, we always go through our disclaimer. Everything that we cover in these videos on our Discord, our Facebook, our Twitter is not to be considered investment advice. We are not financial advisors. These are just our opinions, our ideas, and speculative theories on what we believe is happening in the market. So we're going to go over a couple of trades today, but before we do, we always go over our weekly hits. The last trade that we talked about was on Friday the 2nd, I believe. We did skip Monday because it was Easter and we were both away from our desks and offices. So Cake was the one that we talked about. And the entry on Cake was 29,733 sats. The current sat value at time of filming is 34,540 sats. So about a 16% rise on the entry. And the high was a 37,000 sats, 170. And that worked out to be about a 25% return. So it was a good trade. I actually thought it would do a little bit better. There was a fair bit of stuff happening on Twitter. A lot of people were talking about Cake. CZ was talking about Cake. There was heaps going on. But yeah, obviously Bitcoin had its fun and games, as it always does. It always pulls the rug from us when we least expect it. We did talk about, I did do a bit of TA on Facebook and Discord talking about alts. And I did say, will Bitcoin give us this glory this week? And unfortunately, it didn't. It did it in the old-fashioned way and pulled the market down. Anyway, it is seems to be stabilizing. Alt seem to be bouncing back. Cake was a good trade. And let's see what else we've got today. Moving over to the table. Did you have anything you wanted to say about Cake there, Rev?
No, yeah, I definitely. For me personally, I've taken in my personal account, taken about 20%. Off the table, I took the initials out, and I'll just ride the 20% profits worth of Cake because I truly believe it's going to get close to the three digits if the market continues in this sort of trajectory. And yeah, BNB is just doing cool. A lot of people are trying to call just away from the whole thing. A lot of people are trying to call ETH as a bad investment now. Don't be so sure on that because of what's happening. You mentioned this in the last one. There's a few changes happening to Ethereum. If you don't understand them, go check it out because it could be really impactful on the price of Ethereum.
To be honest, I think people have been shitting on ETH for 3 years now, right? Maybe longer. Like even back when it was $80, it's dead. Don't touch it. Now we're at 2,100. I don't think ETH's going anywhere. I think ETH's here to stay. I think we're going to see massive long-term growth in ETH. Rev and I have been big believers, big advocates for ETH for a long time now. I don't think it's going anywhere. But you are seeing a lot of stuff being talked about and about ETH, and a lot of things comparing Binance with ETH, with BNB token. BNB token has done fantastic. I mean, we talked about it around $35 mark, I think it was. Just broke through all-time high again.
Yeah, the $33 was just a normal trade from me. I just mentioned it in a TIS trade chat. We were taking a leverage position, and the 45, 44 was when we did a TIS hit on it. So, yeah, I mean, we knew BNB was going to take off regardless, and it was going to do something because it was one of the only ones that performed in a bear market for so long, and only did the only one that really did anything, other than a few handfuls here and there, but it was pretty consistent. But yeah, the only reason BNB is that high is because of Pancake Swap, and then you need to be purchasing and swapping with BNB. Similar thing to what happened with Ethereum on Uniswaps, 1inch, and all that sort of stuff, all this decentralized swapping exchanges, and that's why the fee went so high. But the key aspect of it, and if you don't understand what this is understand what a deflationary asset is. Bitcoin is a deflationary asset, and what an inflationary asset is. And go check that out and have a read on it, and then understand what's coming to the Ethereum network.
Maybe I'll do a write-up on ETH and talk about the changes that are coming, because they are pretty exciting changes, and I feel like it's going to have a massive impact on ETH, and I know you do as well, Rev. So maybe I'll see if I can find some time to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And you're really good at putting those words into. You have a way of putting them in together for people to really understand them. For myself, I'd just be like, just understand it. Will you please?
Well, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, so I got to really dumb it down for myself as well.
Don't be saying
But
that.
you know what? Talking about Binance Coin, I was speaking to a couple of lawyer friends in the States. You know, I mean, we've been talking with them. We're trying to do some work to pull some business arrangements and some deals together with some corporate companies in the States. And you know, they were really happy to jump on the phone the other day and talk to me about how they bought Binance at $7, and they're still holding it. You know, and I remember being in the office in Vegas saying, this is something you want to buy and you want to hold. And unfortunately, I didn't take my own advice, but they they just forgot about it. And then the other day they're like, hey man, we're still holding that Binance that you told us to buy. How are you doing on it?
Isn't that the journey of and the beauty of what we do? We barely take our own advice sometimes, and we make some irrational decisions, and everyone else is like, we just made a killing. Like,
yeah, I mean, I worked with these guys day in, day out for 3 years, and you know, got to help them get started in crypto, and you know, they're very, very influential guys in the States. And the work they do. So it was really, really rewarding to see these guys talk about how they're still holding Binance from $7. So
that's so cool. So cool. There may be another potential one similar to what Binance has done, but you know, people need to look and see and open up their eyes as to what Binance is doing and how it's achieving these sort of prices and what's driving that price action and what's driving the demand, right? Because that's all it is. It's an imbalance of supply and demand, and there's demand for it because people want to be catching these swaps on PancakeSwap, you know? That's all it is at the end of the day. Or they want to stake some and farm some on PancakeSwap, you know, with 100% APY. But that's not, realistically, that's not going to last. There's something like 400%. It's not going to last long term. So just keep that in mind as well.
For sure.
You know, these sort of numbers, once liquidity starts increasing for those things and more people jump on it, that yield keeps on dropping. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's have a look at the TIS hitters ROI percentage. Is there anything else you want to add?
Jump into this table, yeah. No, go for it. Let's go through this table.
The TIS hitters ROI starting capital was $500 USD. Start date was the 15th of Feb 2021. We started logging it from episode 26 at $500 with a token as known as BOT, which has now been rebranded as auction, and it has been given a 1-to-10 or 1-to-100 split. So for every bot you had, they gave you 10, which, mind you, right now is an incredible trade. Like, I think it's at like 1,400%.
Yeah, I just checked it this morning. I think it's at $65 USD, $65.
Yeah, so and you got quite a few of them, and I think this trade was like $1,200 as bot. I think I'm pretty sure. And then you got a whole lot more for them. You lost your bot. But yeah, it is what it is. But it's in the like thousands of percent. But anyway, moving on. Going through all that now, going to episode 35. We started with $2,488. The trade was cake. With 50% of the highs, you can see up there in the top of that column is 12.51%, as we did about, I think it was like 25. It was just there.
Yeah.
25 or so percent. The account balance is at $2,800 USD with a 460% ROE, and the BTC balance is at 0.04725 with a 372.5% ROE there. So looking good from a compounding perspective. This is really cool. I'd love to see us catch 100%er here somewhere. Maybe this is the one. Maybe today's one is the one. We shall see.
Maybe.
It'll be very interesting to see this one as well. It's a very interesting one. We don't usually look at coins from this nature, but it looks pretty interesting. The data all around on the one we're going to cover today. So let's let's jump into that.
As always, just before you click out of that page, as always, we all only ever take 50% of the high. So, you know, cake was a 25% move from entry to close, so to speak. We're only logging 12.5%, and that's what we've done for all of them, because it's unrealistic for us to say we bought the bottom and we bought the top. So we're just going to play it fair, as we always do, and log 50% of the high. So that's how you get that. A lot of other people are doing actually better than what we're doing here because they're writing it out a little bit lower, a little bit higher. I still, and I know that you get them as well. I still get a few DMs saying, how did you guys go on Cake, or how did you guys go on XCM? Because I wrote it out a lot higher than you. I get it, and we're happy for you. You don't have to keep sending us DMs.
Stop telling us that you're making more money.
We love seeing that, but you don't have to keep a running tab on it every week. There's a couple of guys here that are probably enjoying saying that they're out trading us.
Yeah, they're doing better than us.
Show me 50%. You show me the 50% to see how you go.
Well, and just to be fair on that, like XCM here, before we move on, the 50% of it was 3.67. So let's say we were looking at 7%, just above 7.3% or something, 7.34%. It went way further than that after
way further.
Yeah. So I get it, and I totally understand that they killed it. I think it went to like 30% and it would have been really nice to hold on to it and then move on to Cake. But we're just going with the flow. We're sticking to what we're doing.
But also keep in mind, I actually said I was going to hang on to XCM for a little bit longer, but we're closing trades to then open new trades for this particular system. If we weren't closing some of these trades, we could have hung on to bot and we'd be up like 1,000% by now.
Yeah.
So just keeping that in mind. But anyway, it's all good fun. I love getting the messages. I appreciate you guys. Just don't think that we're doing something wrong here by you guys going, I'm at 700%. Why are you guys only at 460? That's why I keep reiterating we're going to take 50%. Anyway, moving along.
But just one thing here. Well, Wabi with number 33, it was a special one. We know what number 33 does, and it has the highest percentage. Is that a coincidence, or is that just, I don't know.
Luck.
Let's go.
Okay, so today's TIS hit the first one. We're going to do two today. One that we're just going to touch on, but the first one we're talking about is Dusk. The current CMC ranking on Dusk is 309. The dollar value is 40 cents. Current sat value is 702 sats. We are looking for a breakout above the 4 hour, hoping for a candle to open above that 746 sat range. The first take profit targets between 925 and 1100 sats. And this area could also be the breakout zone. 132 Bitcoin trading volume, 2 short-term buys. Let's pull up the TR and crypto stat and let's go over this one, Rev.
Sounds good. Let's bring it up. Why do these coins move so quickly? Let's bring it up. So we got Dusk here. It's currently at 720. Opposite of what Cake did. Cake went down on us, so we had a better entry, but we still logged what we logged before we released it to you guys. We logged what we had and not the lower numbers on the percentages, because we just want to be fair here, whether it goes up or down. But we had it at 702 sats just before. It's at 720 right now. It only had one BTC of volume. But the bias change here is really interesting. In the last 24 hours, we're looking at 40%. It was just at 42, 40% up, which is really interesting to keep your eyes on and see what happens from there. Let's bring up the chart. Actually, we could probably look at Dusk's last all-time high and everything else like that. So circulating supply, 358 million. Total supply, 500 million. The all-time high price is 67 cents, which is understandable for that sort of circulating supply. 41 cents is the current price. Logged there, the all-time high change from a dollar perspective is negative 38% from where it is right now. And the all-time high change for the sat value percentage is negative 88. So there's a lot of room for growth here for Dusk from that perspective. And the last all-time high was July 22nd, 2019 for both dollar pair and sat value pair. So let's go ahead and check out the chart and see what we're looking at here. So we were looking for a breakout on the 4 hourly and hoping for a candle to open above that resistance structure that we have there. So let's go to the 4 hourly for a second here. So there it is. Let's throw a horizontal line on the 4 hourly. We can see right there about 745. We can see we poked our head out there, but we didn't actually confirm a candle out of it. And this long horizontal price action here is we are expecting a move. And right as we sit right now, we are looking for a move above to push out. It's currently at 717 now, 717 sats. We can see the MACD has crossed over. It's currently over zero. If we get a push similar to this in here, in this range, or even in this range here, we should be looking really good to push out of that. Now we have a sort of like a TP target, but not necessarily a TP target from that perspective. But let's go on a daily for a second, and can we order that? There we go. If we look and throw two horizontals here, we have a topper here on a week about there, and a topper on a week about there. So what we want to pay attention to here is if we do break out of the zone, expect price action here, most likely a slight reversal, or wait for a confirmation breakout. That could be your first TP section, maybe even 50%, maybe your initials. I'm not sure. It's totally up to you how you do it. And then we have the second potential TP zone and also a breakout zone to look for there. Just keep that in mind. It's between about 925, 930 sats to 1100 sats. It's in this, within these two lines here. But we are looking for a breakout, a nice breakout at a 745 sat range. That would just be, it would be the golden trade right here to see that, to be honest, Kurt. And we can see we've had, prior resistance structures in that sort of same range here. We got one here where we fell under. We got one there again where we fell under. Small, not really a cup and handle, but because it pushed way too down and it's not a perfect one anyway. Pushed out and came back down and fell through again. But now this is the point of interest that people will be looking at, and it has decent volume to hold that as well at 130 BTC currently. What's it at now? 133. There's people looking at it, which is really cool. It's already moved in the last 24 hours 9.3%. TIS caught it at, where did TIS catch it at? Let's have a look. I think TIS caught it quite earlier, 680. So, and that was yesterday, last night for me, less than 24 hours ago at 680. So that price movement there is more than half of that was caught by TIS as it is. So, looking at this from a technical perspective, it looks really good. We've had two short-term buys on it as well in the last for the last TIS segments. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on Dusk, and looking forward to seeing what it does. It might be our 100%er here, only because of the dollar value aspect. And I understand that Bitcoin has gone up from a dollar perspective really, really well, whereas the sat values of everything else is sitting in the same sort of range or slightly up. But that difference and that divergence between the percentages from all-time high is quite critical and quite big. So we shall see where it goes. I really expect the breakout out of this one. Look forward to it.
Perfect. Nice. Okay, the other one that we're looking at is more from a longer term point of view. We're not actually taking this trade right now. We are watching it and that's why it's highlighted orange. This is sort of like a monitor trade. It's CRV. We have taken CRV multiple times since we started TIS hitters. So we are keeping an eye on this one. So current CMC ranking for CRV is 110. It's currently sitting at $3.06, 5,266 sats. And we're going to discuss the 4-hour quickly on some TA here, 88 BTC and two short-term buys.
Yeah, let's bring that up really quickly. We don't want to spend too much time on this. We're just looking for a longer-term trade here, so keep your eyes on it from this perspective. If we look back here, we're talking the last sort of pivotal high that it had was at about, 49,000 almost sats. It's at 5,300. I think the first TIS trade was about in this range, wasn't it, Kurt?
Yeah, it was in the middle.
Yeah, so it was quite low. It might have even been at the bottom of where it actually went, and it was quite low. I think it was in the hundreds of sats, no, thousands of sats, maybe under 2,000. So it was a really nice trade to see it push that high and then come back down. But looking back on it and where it can potentially go, especially with a bit of news that's been happening around CRV here, you can see how flatline that MACD is when you bounce out on the 4-hourly. It hasn't really had big moves like it did in this sort of range when it first got trading and when it came down, and then it just kind of consolidated, tried to push out a few times, but the big move hasn't happened from a MA convergence and divergence perspective, which tells me the bands could be getting start to be being pulled as well. So looking at it from a longer term perspective, not really a TIS hitters perspective, but we just want you guys to keep your eyes on it just in case this might be a good long-term trade, or it could be bad.
For sure.
Just keep your eyes on it for sure.
Yep. One thing before we go, I do want to talk about TIS as far as the notifications that are coming through. I do see a lot of people watching the TIS notifications, and there's more and more discussions in the TIS trade chat, which is fantastic. I love how people are looking at the TIS trades, bringing their TA into the channel and discussing it with people, and then finding potential trades. It's just awesome. That's what the system is designed for. But recently, I did a post, I think it was yesterday. On the 6th of April, we had 40 short-term sells and 7 short-term buys. And then on the 7th of April, 24 hours later, we had another 47 short-term sells and 2 short-term buys. People that have been in this in Cryptofy channels for a period of time, let's just say 12 months, we have seen this probably 3 or 4 times happen. And the people that understand the system and have been watching the system, they actually start talking about this, going, whoa, we're seeing a lot more sells happen here and less buys. There's going to be a market move. And then it's the same when we flip it. When we see 50, 60 short-term buys come through and maybe 2 or 3 sells, we usually see a move in the up as well. So not only does TIS provide notifications, it does have some sort of sentiment system going on it as well. And it caught it beautifully here. And people that knew how to use the system, there was, I've got a few messages from people that they went and tethered up a percentage of their portfolios. And they were pretty stoked because, when we see the, 15%, drop on a majority of tokens, they were able to go back and buy lower. Now, we also seen this happen, and we've talked about this before on TIS hitters. This exact same thing happened when YFI fell from like 40 grand down to like 17, I think it was. We had like 50 short-term sells, and I think it was like 4 or 5 short-term buys. And out of the short-term buys that pinged on the 7th of April, one was CHZ, and I think it did 25% or something like that. So the system is doing fantastic from our point of view. I know people in the community are loving it, but you also always have to check the short-term sells, medium-term sells as well, okay? Don't always just rely on the buy notifications. Make sure you're paying attention to the sells, because it could act as like an insurance policy for you. You can either close a trade, put some stuff in tether, or get some funds ready to, I like to call it dry powder on the sideline, because if we do have a 15, 20% drop across the market, those are the days you want to be buying the dips, because it did sort of bounce back pretty quickly.
100%. And I totally agree with you on that with TIS. It's, you could almost say it is artificial intelligence in that sense, where it's just going, hey, buy everything. Hey, sell everything. No, I'm just kidding. But it's giving you the market sentiment. At the end of the day, a potential market sentiment, if we get a whole lot of sales and not many buys, well, you might go in and be like, oh, like you said, I'm going to take 30% of everything out and leave it in USDT just in case, Yeah. And a lot of this stuff, don't be surprised. A lot of the media and the posts that get dropped where it's fundamentally bad for the space is timed correctly. These guys don't just drop a post because they drop a post. These guys are timing it, and they're looking at technicals. They have the experts looking at technicals and saying, hey, we are looking to go bullish here on most things, or we're looking to go bearish on most things. We need good news or bad news, and they know what they're doing. I'm not calling it, but I'm just saying it's definitely, they're not stupid, right?
Let's call them out, Rev. Call them out. Let's just make it public.
It's annoying,
Well, it's like they've got like a shelf behind them, and it's like, okay, the top shelf's bullish and the bottom shelf's bearish. Which one are we using today based on what technical is playing
what's
out?
What's everyone doing? Everyone's gone long. Oh, let's wreck them. And the last bit of news on BTC was the BitMEX stuff.
Arthur Hayes.
Yeah. So that's why we had that market sentiment and that push down, and it was delayed. Not everybody reacted instantly. It took a few hours before anyone reacted. Usually it's like boom, smack.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good 5 to 6 hours before it actually got done the circle and kicked in. And
you see what I'm saying? So it's just something to keep your mind intact with. And if you do realize that it's gone down, try and understand why, and don't just be making irrational decisions, panicking or FOMOing into anything. Just saying, not financial advice, but we've been around for a while. So
and I think the system's evolving as well. We're tweaking little things here and there all the time with it. So Like obviously we see patterns a lot deeper than what you guys do, but there is people in the community that are saying, oh, this is like the third time this has happened.
Yeah.
So they're catching on to it well. And they're using CryptoStat in conjunction with it as well. So, like just keep an eye on TIS. I know it comes in every 12 hours, the notifications. Don't just rely on the buys. Although this morning, what do we see with the buys? We see maybe 30 buys come through this morning, and not too many short-term sells. So just putting it out there.
yeah. Just keep it in mind for sure.
Keep an open mind. All right, guys, that's TIS Titters for today. Thank you for joining us. It is Friday. Have a great weekend. As always, stay safe when you're trading out there. Until next time, take care. Bye for now.
Cheers, guys. Take it easy. Catch you soon. Take care.
Bye, Rip.